And welcome back, everyone. Day 23, 7 days away from the completion of this boot camp, ladies and gentlemen. And it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. I've had a ton of fun making this boot camp. You guys have been insanely consistent. So shout out to you guys for showing up every single fucking day. That right there is dedication. And I see the same comments, the same names in the comments since day one. So that means you guys are getting value out of it, sticking with it. And I've seen a few of you already start to go out and make money with the strategy that we're teaching here. So we're starting a movement. Appreciate everybody, the day ones who have been here since day one of this series. And even those of you who have been day ones on the channel since before this series even dropped. And just to let you know, yes, there is going to be another series to follow after this boot camp. So it's not like I'm going to do this boot camp and then stop posting on YouTube. I'm going to have another series, not giving away any hints yet, but you guys will see what we're up to when we decide to announce the next series. But other than that, we are in the here and now, the present moment, and in the present moment, it is day 23. So what is today's psychology topic? Well, this is around the topic of what you should be focusing on. I get a ton of questions from you guys who are already starting to use the strategy, already starting to make money. Maybe you haven't started using the strategy. Maybe you learned everything, but now you're looking to take action. And everybody's always asking me, what should I focus on? Should I be focusing on making money, taking trades, reading charts? What should I focus on at this stage? And the answer is simple, guys. The answer is you should be focusing on building good habits. Now, what does that mean? Well, what we have to understand here is in trading, it is all a habit building process. And no matter what action you take, you're either training a good habit or training a bad habit, right? If the trade runs off and I choose to chase the trade, I'm training a bad habit. If a trade leaves the station and I sit on my hands because it does not match my rules, so I do not take the trade, that right there is training good habits. That is training profitable habits. So the goal right now is not how can I get into the... So the goal right now isn't how can I take these new concepts that I literally just learned, go full port a challenge, and go try to make $1 million. That's not the focus. The focus right now is, okay, you've learned a repeatable process. You've learned a repeatable, consistent strategy. Now what you have to do is go out and practice that strategy. Go out and build good habits. So we're not full porting, we're not leveraging, we're not even risking money at all, guys. If you have not at least done 50 to 100 logs of this setup or of this strategy within your own personal journal, you do not need to be risking money. You have no business doing it whatsoever. You're just gambling at the end of the day. Why? Because you have not put in the reps yet. So if you have went through all these lessons, if you conceptually understand it, if you're starting to see it in the charts, your next step is going to be to actually backtest it, gather data, collect examples, train your eye, train your reticular activating system, your RAS, to see the setup. Because what's going to happen is right now when you're trying to spot them, it's slow. You have to do a lot of analysis. You have to stare at the chart for a long time. It takes you a long time to mark out the levels. It takes you a long time to identify them. What you do through backtesting and through marking up charts, doing it over and over and over again, is you train your eyes to see the fair value gaps, to see the order blocks, to see the lines, to see the levels. And once you do that 1,000 times, your eye is just going to snap to them. You're not even going to have to think about it. You can just glance at a chart. You can be like, oh, there is the fair value gap that is of most importance. This is why, and it's because I've seen this 1,000 times. So really, that process of gathering data is to simply train the eye to spot it like that to where it becomes second nature. So by the time you start risking money, you don't have to worry about understanding the setup. You have the setup down to a science. Now it's just about managing risk and managing emotion. But if you're going into the chart and you have not built that foundation of confidence by doing backtesting, by gathering examples, what's going to happen when you go onto the chart is not only are you going to be trying to manage the risk and the money and the emotions and the psychology, well, you still don't have the strategy down second nature like that. So you're also in price and try to analyze when you're not even fast enough yet at spotting the levels to even be taking trades. So if you have not started backtesting, if you have not demo traded, forward tested this model at least 100 or more times, you personally, not watching somebody do it, not watching me do it, but you personally seeing it with your own eye without any other assistance. If you don't have at least 100 examples logged in your journal, that is step number one. That is where you start right now. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so this strategy is second nature. You could spot it right away. Your eye has been trained to spot it and you've seen it play out hundreds of times. So there's no second guessing. Now, those of you who have tested the strategy, journaled it, back tested it hundreds of times, the next step for you guys is the step of building good habits. So now the goal is to apply the actual strategy to the live markets. Now that it's second nature for you to spot the levels, mark the levels, you've even took a few demo trades, so you have experience sitting in the actual setup. Now the next step is to start trading with low leverage. So you want to start on a small prop account, one single account, not fucking 5 or 10 accounts when you haven't even proven yourself on one account, guys. One account. You do not go to the gym and fucking stack 5 plates on each side of the bench bar and try to fucking bench it if you're scrawny and it's your first day, guys. Like, you just don't do that. And I don't know why in trading everybody thinks they can just skip fucking the regular 45 plates and go all the way up to just like max Olympic level benching. Like, it doesn't make sense, guys. Just because you can trade 10 accounts doesn't mean your mental and your emotions are ready to actually handle that on a day-to-day basis. A lot of you guys can't even handle the emotions of one account yet on a day-to-day basis. So let's just start there. So one account, low leverage, you should give yourself as many trades as possible. So what I mean by that is if you have a $500 account, don't go out and take a $500 trade because then you only have one chance to gather data and then your account is gone. What you want to do is split that up into as many trades as possible. So if you have $500, take $50 trades and you could take 10 of them. Or take $5 trades, you could take 100 of them, but the goal right now is not to make money. The goal right now is not to go from broke to fucking $100,000. The goal is to simply see if you can execute consistently. Because understand, there's no difference between the trades you take at $5 and the trades you take at $5,000. It is the same setup, the same process, the same routine. It is just different leverage, different risk. So obviously it elevates your emotions. But if you've never mastered being able to execute this setup when the stakes are low, you'll never be able to execute that setup consistently when the stakes are high. So once you're done with the backtesting, your next step is to gather real live market data. Do so with low leverage so that the focus is not on the money, the focus is on collecting data. And the whole entire purpose of this is also to build confidence, because what you're going to notice is you're going to be flooded with dopamine when you take a win, and you're going to be flooded with doubt when you take a loss. And that's just the natural human instinctual knee-jerk reaction. It's not because you're a bad trader. It's not because you can't control your emotions. It's because that is human nature for us to act that way. But as traders, we have to learn to sit through those. We have to learn to experience those emotions, but yet still hold true, hold firm to the actual plan. And the reason we do this with low leverage is because we can actually keep those emotions relatively in check with low leverage. Whereas if you up the leverage beyond what you can handle, well, your emotions are going to be clouding you so much that it defeats the purpose of the exercise. Your data is going to be inaccurate. You're going to be making mistakes. You're going to be breaking your trading plan, and you're just going to be trying to make money. Guys, this whole fucking learn while you earn bullshit has to stop. Like, guys, a lot of these MLMs, a lot of these programs will tell you that, oh, you can fucking learn while you earn, or you can fucking, like, at the same time that you're trying to gamble, you can also learn the right way. No, guys, you can only have one number one priority. The number one priority is either you're going into the market to make a bunch of money, or the number one priority is you're going in the market to gather data and to gather experience. And when you're in the learning stages where you're gathering data and experience, it creates an unproductive learning environment if you're focus on the money. So I know I yapped a lot on that one, but if I had to drive one thing home, if I had to tell my old trader self one thing when it came to actually starting to take real trades, it would be to cut the leverage by 10x and focus on gathering correct data. Focus on learning and going through the correct process, and focus on training your emotions and your habits the right way from the jump. And you cannot do that if you're upping the leverage beyond what you're comfortable with, trying to make money, trying to make amounts that you would be excited with. So whatever amount you would be excited with, take that, cut it into fourths. That is your risk. There is nothing to look forward to now. There is nothing to be super excited about. So all you can focus on is learning the correct process. Now, lastly, those of you who are just starting actually have an advantage because you don't have any habits, neither good, neither bad. So you do not have to worry about untraining the bad habits. All you got to do is focus on not reinforcing bad habits and building the good ones from the start. And if you follow this process exactly how I'm saying it to you, you will be able to skip all of that, like blowing accounts, going tilt, getting caught in this cycle, fucking ruining your personal life because of trading. That could have all been avoided on my journey if I would have just followed this exact advice. But you guys, I know some of you just have to learn the absolute fucking hard way. I had so many people, I had so many mentors and traders and people who were ahead of me tell me the exact same thing. Drop the leverage, focus on learning. But of course, all I wanted to do at the time was make $1 million yesterday. So I didn't give a fuck about that advice. And what did I do? Drove myself into deeper debt, punched more screens, broke more fucking monitors, rinsed more accounts, ran up more credit cards, everything that I should have avoided by just simply taking heed to wisdom, to wise advice. So if you're at the start, if you're learning this model, if you've tried strategies before, but you've done a hard reset, this time, guys, if it's your first time, build the habits correctly. If it's your second time around, build the habits fucking correctly, guys. And if you've already started to develop bad habits, then we're going to have to focus on untraining those habits. So the last group. The first two we already handled, so you guys should have everything you need now to go ahead and get started. But the last group is those of you who already have a good understanding of ICT. You already have a decent understanding of my model, but you are still fighting demons. You're still fighting that one FOMO issue that you can't fix. You're still fighting that one risk management issue you can't fix. You're still fighting that one challenging day that makes you go tilt. And in this case, it actually has nothing to do with strategy, guys. It actually has everything to do with untraining your bad habits and your impulsiveness. So whatever that bad habit is, whatever that habit that is making you impulsive and not able to execute a strategy that you know works, it's worked in your hands before, you may even got payouts from it, but somehow you can't control yourself. Well, we have to do drills. We have to train good habits and untrain bad ones. And how do we do that? Well, we have to stop doing the bad habits and replace them with good habits. How do we do that? Well, we remove money from the equation. So once again, scaling down, but this time you're scaling completely down. So what you're going to do if you're in this category, if you cannot stop chasing trades, what I want you to do is I want you to activate a small trading account. I want you to go buy a small eval. Maybe if you're already funded, take one of your fundeds and put it to the side. What you're going to do on that account this week and the week to follow is you are going to log into it every single morning and you are going to watch the trades leave you behind and you are not going to take a single position. And what this is going to do is it's going to train you to not give a fuck. It's going to train you to regularly train the habit of seeing the market explode without you being a part of it. And it's going to train you to just sit there and not give a fuck until it comes to you. So that is what you need to do. If you're at that point where you can't stop chasing trades, no matter what you do, no matter what you tell yourself, what affirmations you repeat in the morning, you keep blowing your account and chasing trades, that is what you need to do. You need to do a hard reset of habits. You need to completely rinse out the old habits, and you need to completely lay a foundation of new habits. And once you sit through price with a week like that, with that amount of discipline, you're never going to doubt your discipline again. Also, if you have a problem taking a loss and chasing the loss, what I want you to do with that small account is I want you to go in this week and every day I want you to purposely lose. I want you to purposely lose like a $50 trade or a $20 trade or whatever threshold that makes you go tilt. Like let's say you go tilt every time you lose a $500 trade. What I want you to do is drop that to $100. Drop your risk to $100 and you're going to practice taking losses. You're going to take one loss on purpose. If you don't take a loss and you accidentally win, keep trading until you take a loss. And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave the charts. You're going to stop. You're going to follow your risk management. You're going to leave the charts and you're going to do that every day for 2 weeks. And what that's going to do is it's going to train the habit of, okay, when I take one loss, I leave charts. Or when I take one loss, I cut risk in half. If I take another one, then I leave the charts. But you're instilling the habit. And because you're not overcomplicating it with all this trying to make money shit and learn the model and then do this and then do that, you're focusing on one thing. And that one thing is simply don't chase the fucking trade. Or that one thing can just be don't fucking chase the loss. But if there's that one issue you've identified, this is what you need to do. You need to stop worrying about taking trades. You need to start worrying about how you can train that habit, not by thinking about it, not by writing down on a piece of paper, we need to follow our plan this week, by actually showing up and fucking following it in reality for a consistent period of time. And if you guys do this, if you follow this exact route in terms of getting from where you're at now to getting in the live markets, trust me, by the time you start risking real money, it's going to be so second nature that you're not even going to be stressing about any of this stuff, guys. So make sure you do that. Build the habits the right way. Learn the right way. Make sure your ramp up to trading real money is one that's built upon proper foundations, proper habits, proper gathering of examples, and proper collection of data. So hopefully you guys learned something from this lesson, took away something from this lesson. This is honestly what I wish I would have took heed to. And if I was a smarter, less, less arrogant individual at the time, this is the advice that could have saved me years of mistakes. That being said, thank you for all being here. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Comment day 23 down below and also comment what your favorite lesson was from this module.